There's no greater feeling in the world than being in love. When you're in love, life is just magical. But when you're out of love, it's like dark clouds loom over all aspects of your life.
And by the same token, folks, when your marriage is great, life is great.
True.
But when your marriage is in trouble, you know, the passion is gone, you're not in harmony with each other, you're not having fun anymore, or worse, maybe there's an indifference that really makes you feel uncertain about your future. You know what I'm talking about. You're not in love anymore. And the sunniest, clearest days feel dreary, and you don't know what to do about it. Now listen very closely, because what can seem like an insurmountable obstacle, or just maybe a major crossroads in your marriage, is really the biggest opportunity you've ever faced. Because you are now uniquely positioned to launch yourselves as a couple to a whole new level of love, passion, and richness. What? What am I talking about? How is that possible, you might say? I can't imagine things being worse.
Well, everything that's happened up to this point in your relationship is just a prelude, a series of stepping stones to prepare you for this new opportunity. You've got pent-up demand, you've got motivation, and a deep yearning and an unwillingness to settle for less than what you want.
That's so true. Marriage is like the stock market, up and down, up and down. Sometimes long plateaus with nothing going on. And then, bam, we get this huge recession, or worse, a depression. And things sink to what feels like the lowest low ever. And then what do? We bail out at the bottom right before it shoots back up and makes record gains.
And if you want to know what we're talking about, then keep listening, because we're about to reveal the truth about what's going on behind the scenes to make your marriage fail, and what you have in your power to do right now to turn things around faster than you could ever imagine. This message is for you. If you're married and been married for some time, maybe your kids are teenagers or even out of the house. You're an entrepreneur, business owner, executive, professional, or the spouse of one. You don't settle for mediocrity, and you're not willing to live the rest of your life without the happiness, the fulfillment, and the juiciness you want and you deserve. And you don't want to be another example to your kids and your grandkids of what not to do, right?
Folks, we're living on the precipice of unprecedented change for the worse. I mean, that is if we don't get off the sidelines and do our part. But we, you, I, us, we can stop it. There's still time to shift the trajectory of this unconscionable social and moral trend that's spreading in our country. You know what we're talking about. The very fabric of our society is being undermined and weakened. The institution of marriage, as we have known it, it's being systematically dismantled by perverted notions of what it means to be a man and a woman. And not just biologically, but also philosophically. And because of this, there's thankfully a polarization of America, which is good, right?
But while America is being polarized politically and socially, married couples are being depolarized. What do I mean by this? Well, the relationship between men and women has become more strained because our expectations from each other have shifted for the worse. In search of equality, we've dishonored our differences, and we've begun blurring the lines between the sexes. And traditional roles that have historically magnetized men and women to each other are being eradicated, or at least distorted. Our quest for equality has been confused with what now is a crusade for sameness.
Yeah, so true. I mean, we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I think you can see that.
The physical, the chemical, the neurological differences between men and women can't be denied. And these differences are the qualities that make each sex unique, powerful, and divine. By trying to be more like each other and abdicate our natural traits to some politically correct notion of equality, we've diminished our need for each other, our want for each other, and our attraction for each other.
So true, and in the process we've warped our definitions and expectations of the sexes. And it's caused this massive confusion as to how men and women should act and what their roles should be in intimate relationships. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're a Judeo-Christian creationist or a scientific evolutionist. Either way, it's self-evident that we're literally tampering with either the grand design of things or the natural order of things. And it's just not good for relationships, and it's really not good for humanity.
I mean, a woman wanting to go fight in a war is just as screwed up as a man wanting to give birth to a baby. It's just not an optimal situation. This isn't a political statement. It's just the way it is. And I say optimal because we think everyone has the right to do whatever they want.
That's so true. I mean, no one can tell me that it's optimal for two women to be married and raise a child, or two men for that matter, or even two people questioning their sexuality. And by the same token, it's not optimal for a heterosexual couple to share and share alike their responsibilities.
Because then both he and she are equal breadwinners, both take care of the household duties, and both participate equally in raising the kids. Is that equality? Yes. Is that egalitarian? Yes. Is it optimal? No. It's not an optimal situation. Why? Because it depolarizes the couple. He becomes less man, she less woman. It depolarizes, dishonors, and diminishes the intent and purpose behind men and women being so beautifully complementarily different.
I love it. Let's face it, naturally, men and women in their essence are like olive oil and balsamic vinegar, or wine and cheese, or chocolate and peanut butter. I mean, is peanut butter equal to chocolate? Absolutely, in my book. Is it the same? Absolutely not. Now, that's what makes it so complementary, right? Now, if peanut butter was to become more like chocolate, and chocolate more like peanut butter, what do you think would happen? I'll tell you what would happen. You'd f*** up one of the best pairings on the planet. And that, my friends, is exactly what we're doing the more that we try and blend the natural proclivities of the sexes.
Our power is in staying true to our core and exploiting what we are at our core, not wearing a mask that isn't us.
That's right. I don't care how much a Prius wants to be a Jeep, or even identifies as a Jeep for that matter. It will always be a Prius. Now, as we said earlier, this isn't a political statement. It's just the way it is. I mean, if you don't agree, we honor that. I mean, we honor your freedom to live life the way that you want, how you want, make your own choices.
Our message is simply that on the full spectrum of all possibilities for human sexuality and intimate relationships, there's an optimal range to be in that supports the overall health, well-being, happiness, and future of humanity.
So right, this isn't about right or wrong, folks. This is about what is optimal. And it's optimal for a man and woman to be together. It's optimal to be complementary. It's optimal to have a defined playing field with rules, boundaries, and clear goals.
And it's optimal to have clearly defined roles. It's optimal to have opposing energies. It's optimal to show up to a situation and know 7 or 8 times out of 10 who should be doing what without having a vote.
Now let's let people do what they want to do. I mean, live and let live, but come on. Don't pretend that the ideologies with regard to equality and sexuality that are being touted by the media and propagated in our schools, don't pretend that they're normal, beneficial, and in humanity's best interest. Mainstream media today, or whoever's behind it, is trying to normalize what are really aberrations and anomalies, instead of trying to figure out why it's happening. I mean, legacy media isn't asking the correct questions to the correct people. I mean, why is it that every time there's a mass shooting, there's never a news channel or a journalist looking into why? I mean, into why there are so many young people on the ragged edge. The focus is always on guns or gun regulation, when the real question is, why is clinical depression amongst young people at an all-time high? Why is teenage suicide at an all-time high? And why are psychological disorders at an all-time high? We are putting our attention in the wrong place. Now, a psychotherapist or a teacher telling a confused child to question their sexual orientation is no different than a marriage counselor encouraging a married woman to consider infidelity because she's unhappy and doesn't know what to do about it. In both cases, it's no wonder divorce rates, teenage suicide, and child psychiatric prescription drugs are up.
The system is feeding our young people and us a literal and philosophical diet of Mountain Dew and Cheetos. And we wonder why the world is on the ragged edge of self-destruction. All the while, our country's leadership is not providing the education, the support and the resources we need to resolve these challenges. Or worse, they're withholding them from us. Yes?
Man, and divorce is being touted by some as the road to female empowerment.
So bad.
Now, how twisted is that? So, what does all of this have to do with your marriage? The answer is everything, because this is all about disempowering the individual, disempowering couples, and disempowering society, and undermining one of the foundational institutions that has made every great civilization or culture strong since the beginning.
Because if they can get us weak, confused, and divided, they've got us. If they can get us unhappy and discontent and squandering our resources on things like attorneys and doctors and thoughts and ideas and time, they've got us. That's how every totalitarian government gets its foothold.
I don't know who it is, some deep state or diabolical scientist or specter for all I know, but by using some kind of sleight of hand, they have undermined the very fabric that this country is built on. I'm talking about our ethics, our morality, our sense of right and wrong, our sense of immutable truth. And maybe it's our fault because we've lost sight of and stopped practicing and demonstrating the very things that we profess to believe in. I mean, this crap is happening all around us because we've become Sunday morning or Saturday morning Christians, so to speak. And frankly, our children and our grandchildren have taken notice. Our hypocrisy has made them vulnerable to the propaganda of some big diabolical machine that doesn't have their best interest at heart.
Our kids look at us and see that what we profess or what we are doing doesn't work. Be honest with yourself. We don't practice what we preach, and because of it, we're not happy. We're stressed out. We teach our kids to do as we say, not as we do, and we wonder why they might be abandoning religion and morality and ethics. We've been motivated by materialism, and what do we have to show for it? Health problems? Relationship problems?
You know, the thing is, we know better. We can do better, and we need to take a stand. We need to stop being spectators and get back in the game of life. And the first and best place that we can do this is in the most intimate relationship in our life, our marriage.
Through our marriage, we are laying a foundation for the future or not. Through our marriage, we are exemplifying what is possible between a man and a woman or not.
Through our marriage, we are demonstrating the ethics and morals and fundamental truths that every great civilization was founded on or not. Folks, through our marriage, we need to be demonstrating that a marriage between a man and a woman isn't dead, but alive and thriving. And that it's the way to help secure a compelling future for ourselves, our families, and the world. This, my friends, is a call to married men and women to wake out of complacency and to take your marriage up a notch or two and start using your marriage as a platform of influence for good. Come on, you know who you are.
This is a call to married men and women who are considering separation or divorce to reconsider your choice. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. This is a call to anyone who is in pain to open your hearts and minds to a new possibility. This is a call to anyone who wants their life back, because the one thing that for many is the source of their greatest pain can also be the source of their greatest happiness, greatest joy, and greatest fulfillment.
But if happiness, joy, and fulfillment isn't your experience now, it's usually not because you're married to the wrong person, by the way, and it's not because something is wrong with your marriage. It's simply because you don't know what to do.
But the good news is that making marriage great again is usually just 1 or 2 tweaks away. All you need is a paradigm shift, a few simple skills, and some guidance.
You need to stop treating your marriage like a pickup truck and start treating it like the Ferrari that it is. And to do this, you've got to honor your sex, to honor who you are at your core, and use that to strengthen your relationship. This is a call for men to act like men and women to act like women. After all, that's what we love most about each other. It's our differences that attract us, and it's our differences that make our experiences together rich.
It's our differences that are responsible for romantic love. It's our differences that make relationship rewarding and deeply fulfilling. It's what makes marriage the most profound collaborative experience of one's life. But that is only if you know how to do it right.
But if that's not what you're experiencing, it's only because you don't know how to navigate the waters. You've never been taught, but it's not your fault. What has happened up to this point in your relationship isn't your fault. But what you do from this moment on will be your responsibility. I mean, it's true, our system has failed us, our churches have failed us, our government has failed us. Even our educational system and society in general has certainly failed us.
But contrary to a popular notion, marriage has not failed us. We have failed at marriage because our environment, frankly, just doesn't support it.
But we want to change that. We really do. But we need your help. We need to collectively take a stand for what is good and what is right. We need a new paradigm for these things. We need a new model. We need a software upgrade. We need new programming. You know, for most people, the biggest mistake they'll ever make is leaving their first long-term relationship.
You need to know right now that everything that you think is a reason to separate or get a divorce is mostly an illusion. You're much, much closer than you think to having the love and the connection, the fulfillment, and even the bliss that you desire. And the process of transcending your present situation will be the greatest leap in your own self-actualization that you will ever experience. All you need is the desire, the commitment, some profound knowledge, and a little guidance.
And just to be clear on something, this new wave of marriage counselors these days, they're more about helping you get happy with your present situation, with divorce even, than helping you get happy in your marriage. Now that's a generalization, of course, but the point is this. If you go in for some type of marriage counseling, you need to make for damn sure that you're going to get help to get what you really went in there to get help for, and not lured down some path that doesn't support your ultimate goal. Also, you can't look around you to see what's normal and use that to determine your course of action.
That's right. We've got to be doing it better than the average examples around us.
So true. Your marriage may need to get demoed and rebuilt a bit, but you've already got a foundation to rebuild that house on. And that foundation includes the love that you know that you have for each other, your history together, the children you share, and the legacy that you want to leave.
Everyone, our message to you is if you want to make America great again, start by making your marriage great again. And when your marriage is great, life is great. And when life is great, you're in a position to do great things. In the words of Alice Walker, we are the ones we've been waiting for. The legacy you want to leave starts with you.
Kimberly and I have written books about this, and we offer a powerful online course that you can take if you want to make a dramatic change. So if you want to pursue self-help, we have the resources for you at our website, createmarriage.createlife.com. But that's not what this video is about. We need your help to get this message out. So we're asking you to share it if it resonates with you, support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, liking this video, and leaving a comment. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been married for 34 years and together for 39. And we've been through it all. We've survived family estrangement, the loss of parents, the loss of our home, extreme financial crisis, multiple health crises,
the loss of unborn children, the raising of a precocious daughter, and our own loss of polarity. But because of our love for each other, our commitment for each other, and a strong desire to break the chain of dysfunction and divorce, we've gone where very few couples have gone. Thousands of hours of reading, hundreds of hours of seminars and courses, and relentlessly trying new things, developing new skills, and applying new principles to our own relationship.
Until one day the waters parted, the veil of mystery fell away, and we began to see the coding behind the matrix. The secret ingredients behind every forever in love couple. They're the same, whether they know it or not. And sharing these secrets is now our life work. And we can tell you right now that the love that we have for each other, it's richer and juicier than ever before. Right, baby?
Oh, yeah, baby.
See you around.
See you around.